Hey guys, it's Extreme Strategy here, and today we are going to be covering a free-for-all that I did on LionheartX10's multiplayer battle Twitch livestream, and he gave me permission to use this battle as content for my own channel. And what it is we were only allowed to bring in one lord and however many heroes of our choosing using the allotted amount of funds. And I'm going to be covering what happened in this absolutely crazy and insane battle. If you guys want to see more multiplayer battles, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. But anyway, let's get this started. So I decided to bring in straight cultists. Reason for this was that cultists can summon units, meaning I can literally just summon unit after unit after unit after unit after unit. I have 10 cultists. That means 10 summons, plus the Herald of Slaanesh gets 2 summons of Chaos Furies. So I actually have 12 summons in total. Knight of the Dark was playing as Kislev. He brought Gestalten, and then he brought 5 Patriarchs on top of bears. So he did the typical Kislev thing, and just decided that if he was going to fight it, he was going to fight it with bears. Taiapu brought in Khorne, being led by Skarbrand the Exiled. He has 3 cultists of Khorne with their summons, and then he has 4 of the Blood Reapers of Khorne as well. And then LionheartX10 decided to bring in Nurgle, with Kugath Plaguefather, the Plague-Ridden of Death, and then 2 Plague-Riddens of Nurgle, and a Cultist of Nurgle. So let us see what happens. Battle starts, I start moving my troops towards Lionheart. Lionheart, however, will decide to start moving his troops towards me, so I will actually retreat. Khorne is going to start moving their troops towards Nurgle, as well as Kislev will begin moving their troops towards Khorne. So everyone right now is just chasing someone, except for me. I'm fleeing. I am turning my back and running like the absolute coward that I am. Actually, I wasn't running like a coward, I was more setting up a position to spawn a bunch of troops in whenever they came close. Kugath immediately starts hurling his plague-ridden sacks of death at my troops. It does some damage to my cultists of Slaanesh, but it's not going to do a whole lot. However, Skarbrand gets a charge into Kugath Plaguefather. So Kugath is going to immediately begin summoning in everything that he can. He's popping all of the abilities, Plaguefather's Oration, Locust of Virulence. Skarbrand is going to rely with his Rampage ability that causes Lionheart to lose control of all of his troops, meaning that they are just going to start attacking Skarbrand. They're not actually going to be able to do anything else. Kislev caught up with Khorne to start bashing them as much as they can. However, Khorne releases all of its Bloodletters of Khorne to attempt to attack Kislev and to push them back. They did heavy damage to Kislev, so they did a very nice job. Nurgle has now summoned in some of the infested Nurglings, and also the Plague Bearers of Nurgle. Plague Bearers of Nurgle and infested Nurglings are going to begin pushing on Skarbrand the Exiled. He is going to begin to disintegrate. And then the Charge of the Bears comes in to attack both of them as well. Skarbrand is still taking heavy damage, and he is beginning to push out. Patriarch is getting pushed back, and Skarbrand actually begins to stabilize as he gets closer to his troops. So he's going to fall back behind his own lines and let his troops do the rest of the fighting, which is completely against Khorne's standards, as Khorne has been known to side with his enemies just because they fought more honorably than his troops. Kugath is now going to begin fighting off the Patriarchs, and they're just going to swarm him. Curse of the Leopard goes off to give Kugath some nice abilities, spewing whatever he spews from his guts, I really don't want to know, and hurling projectiles into the Patriarchs. Khorne begins moving towards me, deciding that I have been sitting around long enough, basically just doing nothing, which is kind of true. I have literally been doing nothing this entire time. So I see that they're coming towards me, and I just spawn unit after unit after unit. So say hello to Demonettes of Slaanesh and to the Chaos Furies. They see this and they actually stop coming towards me. Really can't blame them. I just summoned in an entire army, and now that entire army is coming pouring over the hills to engage you in melee combat. Now, it is Slaanesh, so they are not very tanky, and they are going to die pretty quickly inside of a situation like this where they're supposed to occupy them and swarm them. Slaanesh is more meant to do more of cycle charges and actual hold the front line sort of attack method. However, they're still going to do quite nicely, but Skarbrand is going to breathe fire right into my demons of Slaanesh, causing many of them to go back into the demon realms. As for Nurgle, it is not looking good. The infested Nurglings are still around, but they just are getting smashed all over the place. Heavy damage to all of the Plague-Ridden, except for the Plague-Ridden of Nurgle right here. Kugath Plaguefather is a third of his health, and the Patriarchs are doing just fine. They have taken some damage from Khorne, they have taken some damage from Nurgle. Do they care? No! And one of the Plague Riddens is now going to begin to disintegrate. As for my Demonettes of Slaanesh, they all got absolutely obliterated, and 2 cultists of Slaanesh went into the fray to try and get in some action. However, they are just going to get absolutely smashed around by all of the Khorne troops. Nurgle is really beginning to struggle as they only have all their 2 Plague Riddens left, and Kugath Plaguefather, but Kugath is getting pushed very far away from his Plague Riddens, meaning that when Kugath dies, the Plague Riddens are going to die as well. Another one of the infested Nurglings, they're going to try and do some damage to the Patriarchs. However, it is starting to look like a lost cause. Back with the Slaanesh versus Khorne, well, Khorne is charging in, and more troops are summoned! Surprise, surprise, this was just kind of a very mean thing to do, just bring in nothing but summons. That is what I did, because I was thinking about it, and I thought that would be just an absolutely brilliant idea. However, as I said, Slaanesh probably was not the best faction to bring for this, because their playstyle. Look at how many Demonettes Slaanesh there are, although they are dropping very quickly, and more get summoned in to join the fray, and to help fight off all of these Khornate heroes. And the fight against Nurgle is going very well if you are Kislev. The final 2 Plague Ridden are beginning to banish themselves back into the Demon Realms, and Kugath Plaguefather just went down. All that's left of Nurgle is this 1 Plague Ridden Nurgle now, and he is slowly just going away, and he is gone. Nurgle has been wiped out, and Kislev is beginning to charge towards the fray. I was able to successfully kill Scarbrand, and cause all of his heroes to begin to rout, or get very close to routing, or in the case of a couple demons, banish themselves into the Demon Realms, like this one is doing right here. As the Khornate troops are falling, I see the massive charge of the bears coming, and I decided that it might be best to start pulling out as many of my troops. My lord was beginning to disintegrate, however, she was able to rally and stop the disintegration process. Chaos Furies appear in the air, and originally are going to be told to go after Khorne. However, in a second, I'm actually going to switch my target over to Kislev. As you can see, Balance Power is actually looking pretty good for me, and the Cultist of Slaanesh and the Herald of Slaanesh are all going to continue running. However, I do, guess what? Summon more Demoness of Slaanesh. I am not out of summons, and after this I believe I summon even more. Unfortunately, I can't see which ones I have or have not used it on. Drop the Fascination ability on top of one of these bears, looking to try and get as many kills in as I can, because I know that the bears are going to be very difficult. More Demonettes Slaanesh to get summoned in, try and do some damage. Patriarch takes on Tor's Battle Hymn, then gets blasted by the Withering. A Cultist of Khorne comes on in to try and fight 2 Cultists of Slaanesh and a Patriarch, as Patriarch starts doing cycle charges, and then 3 Blood Reapers come charging on in. So Khorne is very far from finished, and the Kislev forces are just absolutely obliterating my Slaaneshian heroes. However, another summon appears, and more Demonettes of Slaanesh come charging out of the Slaaneshian dimension to join the fray. So the summons are just constant. However, so are the bears. The bears are absolutely tearing the cultists of Slaanesh apart, switching between targets. Actually, one of the cultists gets shoved into the ground and then has to clamber back out. A couple of them are beginning to actually run, and then I have to send them back into the fray to try and get some fighting in. One of them finally rallied all the way over here, and now has to run all the way back. At least they are cultists of Slaanesh, meaning they are very fast. Gestalten is beginning to lose his health, and even though he's powered up by Ursun's Roar, he also has the Torment Blade ability slapped onto him. He only has 889 health, and then he goes down to 550. It is not looking good for Gestalten. He is hanging on by just a thread. Oh, for the Cultist Slaanesh that he was fighting is beginning to run, and more Demonettes Slaanesh come pouring on out to defeat Gestalten and to tear him to shreds. And Gestalten sees this, and he begins to pull out. He only has 341 hit points left. Then he comes back in, and the Demonettes Slaanesh are beginning to swarm the bears. However, it is 1 unit of Demonettes Slaanesh versus 4 Patriarchs. Gestalten is coming closer and closer to death. He just cannot seem to get away. Demonettes Slaanesh are trying to kill him, and they succeed. Gestalten is down. Kislev's priest is gone, and a Patriarch right here is stuck in the fray, fighting some Demonettes Slaanesh, and he is actually able to start running with 111 health left. Khorne only has these 2 Blood Reapers left, and they are going to start coming back into the fray to try and do some fighting. However, I spread myself too thin, having cultists of Slaanesh all over the place, and not keeping them in one group like I should have. Kislev has most of their bears in one location, and Khorne has most of their troops in one location. well, both their troops, I should say, considering they only have 2 Blood Reapers left. And even when these Patriarchs comes back from the fray, over here the cultist Slaanesh is beginning to run, and the Patriarchs are going to start heading in this direction as well. All I have at this point are 3 cultists of Slaanesh right here who are just trying to get back some of their vigor so that way they can continue to fight. The cultist over here was wiped out and defeated. This means that the Patriarchs are going to come charging on back, as well as the Blood Reapers of Khorne. So now I have Blood Reapers chasing me and bears. However, the cultists of Slaanesh are very quick, but they are not going to be able to outrun everything. However, once the Blood Reapers actually come close, one of the Patriarchs begins to waver, and they are actually going to try and come in and stab the one that has only 38 health in the back and try and bring him down. Cultists of Slaanesh now come charging on in, knowing that they're most likely going to die. 2 really weak Patriarchs right here, except for the fact that the cultist of Slaanesh just gets trampled. She doesn't even get to try and stab them or take them out. One of them is beginning to waver, goes in for a hit, and isn't able to do anything, and she is now shattered. The other one is fighting 2 Blood Reapers of Khorne, and that is not going to end well. And the final one is beginning to rout and getting smacked around by all these Patriarchs, and she is shattered as well. This means that all that is left are 4 Patriarchs versus 2 Blood Reapers of Khorne. The Blood Reapers of Khorne are going to come charging on in. However, they're not going to be able to last long. They get hit, or they take on Locust of Abjuration, spell resistance plus 66%. They actually kill one of the bears. One of Kislev's bears go down. Another one gets stuck between the 2. However, 2 other bears are going to come on in, and they're actually going to kill one of the Blood Reapers. Now I was left to this one final Blood Reaper to try and kill the 3 Kislev bears, and he goes down as well. Meaning that it was the Knight of the Dark, meaning that it was Kislev who won this entire fight. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe. Go check out the Discord server, as well as LionheartX10's channels. Links to both those in the description below. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.